Here we are, another
Here,
Friday.
another Friday, and I mean, most people watching this probably like, oh, I got a recap of what happened, but this is the first time we've recorded this literally right after the West Coast call, which I think might be my new favorite. Like, I'm two calls in, I'm full on the coffee, I'm still running the high from the last conversation. All the stuff we talked about today around buying journey, it was just a really like two really fun conversations. With some things that I'm really glad we talked about and some surprises as well. Latney, what'd you get out of today?
I think the one pervasive takeaway when you think about the buyer's journey is it's easy to start to map out our process and then start to put content and stages and conversion rates and personas. But what I loved was what Lisa shared there was two rows that stood out. What are they thinking coming in to this stage in the journey? And what do we want them to be thinking and feeling coming out of it? And it was really, really eye-opening to me. And that's more of a North Star for the teams in terms of how the process works and what content we need versus it's going to go exactly like this, because the net is the buyer's journey is a hairball. It's not going to go how we think it is.
Yeah.
So if you can just really nail what are they thinking and feeling coming into an interaction with us, what ideally do we want them thinking and feeling coming out of an interaction with us, that's the North Star.
Yeah, and I think that becomes something that is kind of foundational. Like you think about the feelings and emotions behind this, and really put it in the customer's perspective, not just what we want them to feel, but what do they want to feel, right? I mean, if there's a problem that needs to be solved, what are the feelings and emotions around that problem? If they don't solve it, if they know about it but then can't solve it, what are the feelings and emotions around that? I mean, so they just understanding where that exists and how that exists can really be useful in figuring out, the nature of your content, the format of your content across multiple touch points. It seemed a little silly that we had to sort of point out that this needs to be a buyer-centric buying journey. But if you look at a lot of buying journeys, like they're really just sales processes, right? Like we're building the journey the way we want it to look, which doesn't help. So it's got to be based in not just the feelings and emotions your prospect has, but also the way they buy, like what they're naturally going to follow. And you can absolutely create a very successful and very scalable sales process from that, but it's based on the customer, not your ideal state of the customer.
Exactly. And then I loved what Ashley Stepien is doing on her team, having a customer lifecycle team. So she literally has someone who owns specific aspects of the customer journey. And they are, tapping into product marketing, tapping into customer success, tapping into sales, but sort of that single flow to ensure it's a great experience. So I thought that was a good way to think about organizational design and how to optimize. So that was a good nugget. In the chat, people kept mentioning, and I'm going to say it wrong, so you're going to have to tell me, it's not popsicle moments. Which is the winning by design or what I know I've heard.
That was one of the examples in the book. It was The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath.
The Power of Moments. So maybe tell everyone what that's all about, because that got airtime.
Yeah, I mean, I think we find good books for marketing outside of the marketing genre, right? And I think like generally like psychologists write really good books for marketing. Like there's, Robert Cialdini's written a couple really good books. One of them, Persuasion. If you haven't seen that one, definitely check it out. But the idea that Chip and Dan wrote about was the power of moments. That it's not about the whole experience. It's about sometimes those buzzworthy, conversation-worthy moments that just make you feel good. And the example that was brought up today in the coffee talk was of this hotel in LA that has this moment around popsicles. They have this this really sort of just kind of cool phone sitting out on the pool, and you pick up the phone and you tell them what kind of popsicle you want, and a butler with gloves and a silver tray comes out and brings you your popsicle. So does that have anything to do with staying in a hotel? No. But is it conversation worthy? Yes. Is it a moment that is amazing that people love? Yeah. So I think, when we talk about buying journey, and one of the things I loved about Ashley that you mentioned as well is the buying journey is great, but the experience is even more important. And the way that you sort of tie that experience together across the entire customer journey. One of the other things I liked about Lisa's spreadsheet is it didn't just have buying journey and customer journey. There's a section in the middle that she had around activation and onboarding. Like, if you're not thinking about, like, as soon as someone buys, like, they're super excited and they're also super nervous because they just gave up a lot of money. They just made a commitment. How you treat them in those next moments to validate the decision they made. I mean, little things. It could be a thank you video. It could be, a box of donuts that you say, like, we're excited to work with you. I know I have a client that would send new customers a little shot glass and with a note that said, thanks for giving us a shot. Get it? But so, like, thinking about those early moments and having that be something that marketing owns, even if it's going to be executed by an account management or customer service team, boy, that can make just a huge, great first impression and have a big impact for a long time.
Yeah, I will say over and over and over again, every time I've done this exercise across multiple companies, the area of, I would say, the most vulnerability and opportunity is the handoff from them being a prospect to a customer and that onboarding. It's the, my mom or your mom saying you never get a second a chance for a first impression. Like that time is so precious. And one that, just focusing on there, you can have a huge impact on the overall customer experience.
Well, I mean, shout out to a bunch of people that really helped us out today. We got Beth Magee on the East Coast. We had Ashley today, Lisa at Mind Tickle, Andrea at Lead MD, Carolyn. We had, it's just so fun when we got, a community of people that we're all working through this. We all, especially something like a buying journey, we experience it at the same time we're trying to sort of build and manage it. And the other thing I wrote down that I think I got to keep in the back of my mind for our business and for our clients is that buyers are people. The buildings aren't writing checks, right? So when you think about the emotions and the feelings behind it, you think about what people are individually experiencing. Yes, they're tactically, maybe functionally a buyer, but we are all people. And if we can keep that in mind as we design those experiences, I think we're going to be a lot more successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So another great week. We'll be at it again next week and see everybody on Friday. Hope everyone has a great weekend.
We will. Real quick on some housekeeping, though, before we get there. So continue to see us on Friday. If you're watching this and if you're a marketing leader and you want to be involved in the Coffee Talk community, send Latney a note. We'll get you hooked up for the Friday morning sessions, get you into the Slack channel where we continue those conversations throughout the week. We also have, Latney, our event hackathon coming up in November.
I forgot. It's going to be awesome.
Good. So events have changed a lot this year, right? And so we are bringing together not just the CMOs that are in the Coffee Talk group, but bringing their teams together to really sort of hack together what events need to look like moving forward as producers, as sponsors, as attendees. So look for that link soon. You can find that if you're in the CMO group, you can find links to that in the Slack channel. We'll make sure we get those published here as well. And then finally, Latney, so 6 Sense and Heinz Marketing separately, but then together we are gold sponsors of the B2B Sales and Marketing Exchange coming up here at the end of October. So if you would like to attend, it's one of my favorite conferences of the year. Great content, great attendees. If you'd like 25% off your registration, let us know. We'll get you that link. We'll put that up in Slack channel as well. But look forward to seeing you there. Few extra things, extra goodies on a Friday.
You're always full of goodies, Matt. We could go another hour. I love it.
Just talk about goodies. All right, guys. Well, Latney, as always, this has been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.